Oh. Welcome back to another episode of Boys Love His Man 3.
And you know what boys love?
Mess.
Boys love His Man 3. Ditch.
Also, Boys Love Exchange 4? Is that also what's going on?
Gay.
Exchange.
Exchange.
Yeah. We'll workshop. This week we watched...
we lived through.
We experienced. We were immersed in...
Immersive. And immersive storytelling.
Immersive storytelling,
Absolutely.
for sure.
That's what we're trying. More timeless, more relevant, more His Man.
It was episode 7 and 8. 7, a good episode. 8. I think we watched... Well, I watched an episode and then I watched a film. Is really what I watched.
Yes,
I watched
yes,
a piece
yes.
of cinema.
I watched an episode of His Man 3, and then I watched the Palme d'Or winner 2024.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese's newest project. His Man 3, episode 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do we start?
I guess episode 7.
Go through normally, but should we just go for it?
No, let's
have to table
let's
set?
speed through every. Yes, because there is table setting that happens to get to it.
Okay. Okay.
But you know what? I will just say, switching up the rooms feels like child's play now.
Oh yeah.
Switching up the rooms,
sweetie Sungmin.
even though episode 7, I feel for Sungmin
my
a lot.
sister, yeah.
You could take it or leave it,
girl.
That is yesterday's news, honey.
Right. The news cycle moves so quick nowadays.
So quickly, especially in His Man 3.
I'm going to point out a couple things while we recap that are going to have to come up later in our analysis of the conversation.
Of the ice cream conversation.
When I start with Youngjoon ended up sleeping with Hanmin instead of Myungkyun, this is where it begins.
Yes.
And I don't think it was... They were just saying we're both restless sleepers. It would be better if we swapped. So Min-sun and Myungkyun slept together. Youngjoon and Hanmin slept together. Okay. They get up together. Youngjoon and Hanmin, they stretch, they work out. They like each other a lot. It's very clear.
Yeah.
Hui walks by the mission card, the morning mission. Well, it's not a mission. It's an announcement.
Just an announcement,
right. It's when you go to church and they're like, okay, and now the newsletter.
The announcements.
The announcements. So the announcement is that all of the rooms have been adjusted. Most of the rooms have been adjusted.
Yeah.
3 of the 4 rooms have been adjusted.
They're new roommates.
Roommates are different. So starting from the first floor to the third floor, we have Songmin is now rooming with Hanmin.
Mm-hmm.
Jae-sung remains in his solo room. The quad room is now Myungkyun, Youngjoon, Min-sun, and Seungjin. And then on the top floor
is Hui.
Hui is by himself.
Yes.
In the attic. There is a varied collection of reactions to the announcement of the room changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Min-sun, who's like, nothing's changed for me. This
I'm
great.
good diva.
Jae-sung's the same way. But people are already like, you clearly changed the rooms because you got Hui out of there.
Hui, yeah.
To Seungjin being like, no, I cannot. And I will say, Seungjin's issue is not, his issue is not rooming with everyone.
It's sharing a bed.
It's sharing a bed. He's annoyed that he has to share a bed. And then Hui is obviously very sad that he has to go all the way up to the 3rd floor. And we do officially... So last week in our recap, the way the message was worded, it seemed like the translation was...
Well, the way that Songmin was acting, he just needed to pick a new roommate.
Correct.
But it said...
But we now find out...
that it was like...
Or like it's clear to us.
It's clear to us now that they were...
People were like, you guys didn't get that.
The instructions were move everyone around.
Yeah. And he already feels bad.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
He actually ends up breaking down.
He actually breaks down.
First with Hanmin. And
then
Jason actually walks in and is like,
sees it's happening and like leaves because
Walks out.
he felt like he couldn't.
he didn't want to interrupt.
He didn't want to interrupt. And then later it's with Hui and Sungjin.
Sungjin. Mm-hmm. And at that point, that's when everybody has kind of
Sungjin
been like,
and Hui were like, "Oh, okay, you did this."
he definitely did the rooms. I think Sungmin, of all of the people on the show, I'm trying to think of who I would be the most like in that environment. And I think like
Sungmin is trying to make the logical choice every time. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
he's trying to be clear-headed.
yes, but the reason he breaks down is because he kind of realizes that he only took himself into account in the reorganization of the rooms, and he doesn't want people to like be upset with him. He's definitely got the Sonu people pleaser energy thing going on in a different way, I think, than Sonu. But
I think these secret missions, I mean, I think he knew that he was going to upset Hui no matter what. But I think the Youngjun getting split by Hanmin, and then obviously Sungjin losing his like first his solo room.
Yeah,
everyone was kind of kikiing about it, but it's like they're all making fun of the fact that they don't
they're
like
all being
it.
like, oh my god,
they're all being so dramatic, which I think like if I can understand how Sungmin could interpret that and being like, oh, I don't think he thinks that they're upset.
I think he's also burdened by the fact that he's supposed to keep it a secret.
But yes, he's not supposed to, because he could just say like, I know, I'm sorry, I had to. It was a mission, I had to.
But he has to pretend like he doesn't know who does it.
And I think that just like bubbled up, and I feel bad. And I feel
bad. He seems like a very
sweet, sensitive
person.
guy.
Yes,
and I was telling Adam, he did not expect to be the main character of his man.
He did not come on the show.
He thought that he was just going to be like, I'm just
tertiary.
Tertiary. I'm just gonna explore my options, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I might not meet anyone, and that's okay, but I'll have like this great experience. And he is in there, and he is in the middle of the main plot.
Yes,
he's the center of the main plot.
Is it the main plot?
Well, the first half of the season, I guess. So he just, I think it bubbled up, and I don't think that it was like disingenuous, or I think he genuinely
I think we need to start having this conversation.
I think we need to start. Okay,
all right,
come in.
Here we go.
Come in,
girls. Come on in.
Listen to,
this is not necessarily people who watch our recaps.
I don't think
say.
So. No.
But
we're not mad at anyone.
Okay.
Okay, let's start there. We are a little disappointed, but we're not mad at anyone. Okay.
I think there's this weird thing, and this happened last year too. Mm-hmm. And this happens with all shows, right?
Yeah. It happens with like.
It almost feels like silly to even discuss it.
Yeah.
We are watching a show over the course of weeks that they lived
8 days.
Yeah, through 8 days. The thing I think that is most interesting about this season, and why I think there's definitely been a lot of conversation of like, is this season better than last season? I don't even know if you can really, of course you can compare them to some degree,
but it feels like a different show.
The show itself, this season is so tonally different from last season. Like, first season was just getting its sea legs. Second season was all about how sweet they are. This season is like drama.
How messy it can be.
Yes, that's why they have all the new missions and the secrets and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This season, I think the most fascinating thing as like a viewer of both the show and the discourse around the show, what I think is fascinating is that last season, it was like everyone was rooting for Jun Sung-ho. Like, I would say 95% of the people watching were just like waiting for that train, and we all boarded the train and we all took off on the train together.
Yeah.
Which made the viewing experience and the talking around it kind of easier to discuss because everyone was just kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
There was still like obviously
drama.
mess.
I mean, the other love triangle. Yeah.
Right. But this season, there is not a consensus of who should be with who.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe not up until this week. I think maybe things are starting to solidify a little bit more. But like, you can go on it, even in our comments on our videos, you can see like people rooting for Jae-sung and Wee. You can see people rooting for, I'm Hui Sungmin. You can find people rooting for
Jason and like Sungjin, or like Jason and Hui.
Jason Sungjin. Like, yeah, you can find a bunch of different. There is not a clear.
There's not a
this
clear
is the protagonist couple of the show.
Yeah.
So I think that has muddied some of the like, and it's not even like the shows. I mean, the show has to deal with whatever is happening between the chemistry of the contestants anyway.
But the show is successful because people are watching and paying attention to it.
Yes, I do think. I just think there's just a lot of discourse that is
really unnecessary and unfair. I feel like
I hate to do this because I do think didn't we do this last year too?
Yes, we did for Youngjin.
Oh, yes.
Because people like called him narcissist.
First of all, that word has lost all meaning.
Yeah.
So
we're just throwing that out to anyone.
That word just means anything anymore, and people can armchair diaghnose anybody at this point. Yeah. It's very thrilling. We live in a time. I've seen that lobbied at Myungkyun. I'm sure I'm going to see it now lobbied at Youngjoon.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I saw someone say Sungmin seems like a narcissist.
Or not even narcissistic, but like said that Sungmin was like at that moment like inconsiderate of everyone's feelings. Which, if it was 2 a.m. and you've been sleep deprived for 3 days and you get a text saying you have to do this right now and not tell anyone, like, do you know what I mean?
I also
like,
just feel like it's fine. It's fine.
Also fine to
I just feel like it's fine. I just feel like it's a show. And they're all just doing the show.
They're just doing the show. And they're doing the best. They're all real people. Yeah.
And
I think
that's just always how I feel about reality TV. Is like, these are not evil people.
Yeah, they're all doing their.
That's all.
It feels like this show specifically, there is a level of people are talking about everyone like they are characters in like a drama,
and they are to some extent.
But people are just quick to say the most extreme thing.
Yes.
And then being like, and that's why I won't watch the show anymore, like, or whatever.
I really like Youngjoon. Like, I think I would like him. I would be very into him.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. He does things in episode 8 that I'm like, girl, we have to.
Quiet.
But this is when I'm like, I want to just be their friend so I can pull them aside and be like,
Diva.
Okay, we got to have a talk.
Diva girl.
Because I know, girl, you seem like you feel like you're right.
I know, but you're not right.
You're
Diva.
not right, Diva.
Diva, you just have to let it go because at the end of the day, no one's asking about that stupid anonymous question.
No one cares.
So you can just
let
it go.
There's one person who likes you and he does not care about it.
And he does not care. So isn't that the end goal, Diva?
I don't want to be like, I'm better than people who watch this because I have empathy for the people on the show. But I do think, like, I don't know.
I just feel bad because I like watching the show. And sometimes the comments will make it be like, well, okay, if you felt that way about like what Sungmin did or what Youngjoon did, if I'm watching the show and I'm like, well, I am still entertained. Am I now thinking about like, well, but what that one comment said that this was whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
well, because we've started to as like culturally, we've started to be like, oh, but if you enjoy this type of thing, then you are like morally complicit in what you.
Yes.
It's the tweet that's like, I had to watch something but shake my head at the whole time so everybody around me could know that I think this is wrong.
I think this is wrong. I'm like, yeah, girl, it's
of course. I think Youngjoon makes some wild decisions in this that like are so bonkers, and I don't even know if he's necessarily totally wrong, to be honest, but
he's so clouded,
messy,
whatever,
and I am living for it. I sat there with my mouth on the floor,
big smile on my
face, thrilled at what I was receiving through the television screen,
knowing the fact that what he was doing
do I
is
feel
wrong.
bad that Myungkyun like, oh, I know his brain's working a mile a minute trying to keep
hard.
up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nothing happens in episode 7 because it rained all day. So they just like,
yeah, there's no dates.
They make a little party at home.
They have a little party.
The quad goes grocery shopping and everyone else is just sitting at home.
There's one point where they're at the dinner table all together and they're all just talking and Youngjoon like snaps at Myungkyun.
I know.
I just need to bring
like
this up for later.
Myungkyun said something like, "Oh yeah, like that's weird."
It was something about because Youngjoon's response was, "I don't know what you would do."
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. Myungkyun was trying to say like, oh yeah, we're both similar. And like we would do the same thing.
Yeah.
In that situation. And he'll be like, I don't even...
Ew!
And even Myungkyun...
Everyone was like,
that was weird, huh? And that's the thing. If everyone notices...
Everyone's noticing, girl. Everyone's noticing, girl. The quad room all goes grocery shopping together, so everybody else sits around the table and talks about everybody else who isn't there, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's
they're fully just
Sungmin and all the boys he's interested in. So
yes.
Hanmin, Jaesung, and Hui are all together,
and they're fully having like an untucked conversation because they're like,
it is completely.
So what's going on with Myungkyun and
the grocery
Youngjoon?
trip is staying on the stage to receive critiques, and the rest of them are have started untucked.
Yeah,
and Hanmin has all of the tea. Hanmin slowly becoming my favorite person on the show.
Because he is just like, well, this is how Youngjoon feels, but then this is how Myungkyun feels, blah, 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 blah. And everyone was like, oh.
A, really observant.
Yeah.
B, understands where everyone's coming from and like why they feel the way they feel.
And like doesn't pass judgment.
And like
it's like
really comforting.
Yes, because he's like, and I could understand, we all understand why it's awkward for both of them.
Yes, and he looks like this picture. Sungmin takes Jaesung to the side and apologizes for not calling him the night before. Sungmin's doing a lot of apologizing on the show.
It's the apology tour.
It's a world tour.
Uh-huh.
It sucks because he literally has nothing to... He has done nothing wrong on the show.
Literally, like...
He's just... The point of the show is to go on and listen to your heart and just follow it.
And he's been doing that, but because he's realizing, obviously, that, like...
It's hurting other
people. And... Yeah.
So there's also a point where Jaesung cuts some mushrooms for Sungmin, so he's like, oh, that was very cute. The whole thing is like Jaesung keeps doing things.
There's something that keeps him attracted to Jaesung, yeah.
And it's because his body looks like that.
It's because
we just say it?
It's because he's young.
It's because I bet he is.
I bet he is.
There is a point where they have these like sangria drinks.
Oh yeah, and Youngjoon is like, I can't drink.
Yeah, Youngjoon's like, I can barely drink. I'm allergic to alcohol, blah, blah, blah. And that's not what I'm talking about. Sungjin takes a sip of it and goes like, meow, meow. And it is... Sungjin...
I would, at the end of the show, if he does not start a YouTube, I'm calling him personally and be like,
he's
Diva,
so funny.
You're so funny.
He's so witty.
Start it. Just do it.
It's so funny because I think at one point in the show they say he's like really timid. Mm-hmm. Like in the captions, they like describe Sungjin as being very timid. And it's weird because in terms of like the point of the show of like going out and putting himself out there and trying to go for it, yes. But like, and he is an introvert, I will give him that. But he's so like funny, like
quick, very witty.
Energy of the room, like can turn the room's energy fully around. He's still
able to like be like the life,
and not in a way where it's like Youngjoon,
where he's like
just
working, hosting the room.
Yeah,
he can like instantly like change the mood of the room.
Yes, he's a mood maker, but an introverted mood maker. It's very interesting. Myungkyun keeps bothering Youngjoon. There's a point where they all have their feet in the pool.
He like squirts him,
and he like goes like squirt him with water, and Youngjoon's like, "Don't fucking do that." It is. I can't.
At this point, it is.
It's not. It's genuine. Like at first few weeks, I was like, maybe it's sexual tension. It is not sexual tension. It is. It is.
It's deep rooted.
Dislike.
Mm-hmm.
Dark side.
We gotta get to this conversation soon.
Do we have? Are there any of the questions, the anonymous questions that you feel like we need to discuss? There's obviously one.
There's obviously one huge one. Jaesung gets asked directly,
how many people
he's interested in. He says 2. Mm-hmm. Hui says he's only interested in one person.
Has to rank everyone's looks.
Hanmin had to rate everyone's looks, including him, and he gave Jaesung number 1, right?
Youngjoon.
He gave Youngjoon number 1, and then Jaesung, and then him is 3.
Mm-hmm. And the lowest
was Minsun. Don't do our sister like that.
Don't do our sister like that, Miss Girl. Hui is asked how many he's interested in. He says 1. Youngjoon is asked what he would like to hear his partner say and what he would like to say to his partner. And he just says, 좋아요. I like you. Because it's we got to simple it. Simple. Simple.
He doesn't do cheesy.
He doesn't do cheesy. He doesn't do adjectives. He doesn't do like descriptors. He doesn't do.
He's not a superfluous kind of guy.
No. Those are the interesting ones. The one that we have to discuss is Youngjoon receives an anonymous question from we couldn't even imagine who, and the question is, it seems like you're a very different person than you used to be. Can you be more honest? And Youngjoon is like, I have not lied like on the show. The only thing I just didn't share immediately was the fact that I knew Myungkyun before the show. That's it. He is clearly bothered by this question. He is clearly bothered
and upset.
Bothered.
Are you bothered?
Are you bothered?
How would you react to this situation?
Well, I wouldn't be in this situation because I wouldn't have made it weird from the beginning. And I blame both of them for that.
Yes.
As soon as Myungkyun walked in, I would have been like, Myungkyun?
Myungkyun? The Myungkyun? The
you could have
millionaire?
fully passed it off as like,
oh my God, they really brought someone in my life here, huh?
Yeah, or just like, look what the cat dragged it. There's a way to make it funny.
Yeah.
And like, cut the tension, make it immediately clear. Youngjoon is funny. I'm saying this because I already know
that
he is like a
someone
funny
that
person.
would do
Sungmin,
that.
maybe I don't know if he would be able to handle that, but like he could have easily said a million different things to clear the air, make it obvious he knows him, but also be like, but we're not a thing, so don't worry about it.
Which is crazy.
Because that's the biggest thing. Because he didn't want people to think that they were like already a couple.
And then I always thought that was just like our assessment that like he could have easily done that. Fast forward to the end of the episode, realizing that is truly one of the root things that has upset Myungkyun in the show.
Yes.
The literal introduction.
Correct.
Whew. Okay.
Let's go to episode 8. At the very end, the staff is revealing the secret missions for each day. So
they all find out that Jaesung and Youngjoon had extra calls.
2 calls.
Jason got a bonus date, and that
Sungmin changed the rooms. And so there's finally like a wave of relief for Sungmin as he...
Because the truth is out, and I think he can be more open about being apologetic. And he does say like his excuse. He says that I wanted to isolate someone and then get to know someone better.
Yeah. That's what I would do. That's what I would have done.
That's what any of those other 7 guys would do. Sorry.
I know. Trust me, I know gay men. If there's one thing I know, it's we get anonymous chat rooms instead of phone calls tonight.
The infamous.
So we start with Youngjoon's chat. Hanmin joins. It's
just the two of them. Youngjoon does not join, which is very interesting.
Correct.
He does not want to be there.
And they're just flirting. They're like saying like where they'd like to go on dates. Blah blah blah.
It's very sweet.
It's clear that Youngjoon knows it's Hanmin. It's clear Hanmin knows Youngjoon knows it's him. It's cute. Myungkyun's is next. Minsun joins to flirt. And
is ready to start flirting. Because he's like, hey, what are you doing? And immediately,
an anonymous person named Why Are You Like This joins the chat. And it is Youngjoon. And he goes in. This is where I thought it was going to be the messiest thing that he does today.
Yeah, as pretends to be someone else, right? It's like
yes, he's trying to be like
it's so anonymous. And then it's mad later that it's like, yeah, obviously it was me. Then why?
He asks,
what's your relationship with?
What's your previous relationship with Youngjoon? Why did you? He can't even really ask why he said that because that was supposed to also be anonymous, even though it's clear that it was both of them.
Yeah.
He just like keeps peppering all these questions of being like,
Do you like him? What are you doing? Like,
why is this happening?
Yeah. Do you not like him? What are you trying to get from him?
Yeah.
And Myungkyun obviously is just like trying to play it cool. Of just
yes,
like,
I would say that's Myungkyun's biggest MO on the show.
Because he's like, I'm just trying to get to know. Yes, unaffected. I'm just trying to get to know everyone and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I knew him before. Da, 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 da. Not obviously giving any.
He says that there is a secret that he has that he will not reveal. That will also come back up later.
And Minsun is just like...
My sister.
He literally was like, well, it looks like I was going to say something more, but it looks like I'm just like watching.
I'm just watching this other chat happen. And then they cut to Youngjoon being like, I definitely know Minsun. It's Minsun in the chat.
And I feel bad.
He says he does feel bad, but he's like, but there are things that he should know as well.
And just keeps going, like completely ignores it.
Because at one point, Minsun tries to be like, hi, I feel like I'm just reading the chat.
No response. No acknowledgement.
They ignore it. Continue. Okay. Jaesung is next. He has Seungjin, Sungmin, and Hanmin. Seungjin is trying to assess, due to Jaesung's response of him being interested in two people, if there's a possibility he's the one that the other person he's interested in. So he flat out asks him who the second person is, because obviously the first is Sungmin, and he says it's Hui.
And that was the first time
Seungjin realizes that it's not his age.
It's just him. It's the first time Sungmin realizes that
he likes Hui. To some degree. Mm-hmm. Hui is up next. Sungmin joins. They just flirt. It's very cute. Except for the fact where Hui is like, yeah, I'm so sad and alone up in the third floor. And Sungmin again begins to cry.
He is crying. And Hanmin obviously is like trying to comfort him and he is sobbing.
Production did this man dirty.
Production did that man dirty.
To be fair, there's no way they thought he was going to be like fall to pieces over this.
Yeah, obviously.
Good Lord.
Yeah, they're just like, oh shit. Oops.
Hanmin is up next. He has Youngjoon and Seungjin and Minsun and Myungkyun. Myungkyun's anonymous name, by the way, is Adam. And we get no explanation as to why. Almost everybody else, they explained why their name was that.
Yes.
Oh, I guess not Minsun. But like it was close enough to his name that it was like, oh, he just kind of chose like a similar name. Why is your name Adam? Why did I feel? I was like, what? Now why am
I in it? See what they did? Just drag my name in.
If somehow we find out that Myungkyun's English name is Adam, I will. Do you know how many gay Adams I know?
I hope that he was like, I just know this Adam who like is a big fan of the show and like recapped it last season and I really liked it, so I picked him.
No, that is not what happened.
No.
Minsun has only joined the Hanmin chat because he believes that Youngjoon's going to be there, so he wants to see what his name is going to be to confirm that he was the one being annoying in the Myungkyun chat.
And he literally goes, first of all, thunder is rumbling. That is literally Minsun's energy during this, because he was like, I just came to verify someone. Thank you. Ping, leaves the chat. And then he is in the couch on the first floor just...
Oh, wait, hold on. I have to... Because he does this. Okay. I need to kiki with Minsun. I need to kiki with Minsun. I'll take up smoking just so I can hang out with Minsun.
So, what happened in the show?
Seungjin is trying to assess because Hanmin is the closest to who his like ideal type is. So he's trying to figure out
if he would be ever interested
if he's open to anybody else, blah, blah, blah.
And he does say, he's like, I'll go on a date with someone. But Youngjoon is fully like, why would you want to go on a date with Hanmin? Like being very protective, obviously.
Why did Myungkyun join this chat? This is the question. He asks one thing in this chat. He says, do you like shooting?
Guys.
Do you think he was like, there is a chance that he
might like Hanmin.
Well,
I think so.
No. That he was the one asking the question. Like, maybe it wasn't Youngjoon earlier in his chat. Maybe it was Hanmin.
It was Hanmin, so he wants to double check. And then that's the thing, he probably saw the name and then he was like, oh, okay.
Minsun's chat is next. Myungkyun joins. They flirt. They talk.
Adamson was not sold on the chemistry.
I'm absolutely not sold on this chemistry. I mean, thrilled for my sister Minsun.
Absolutely.
If she's able to secure that man,
looks like that, is a fucking stunt actor, bitch.
Sure.
And like, who is very much like, oh yeah, when I'm interested in someone, I won't like look at anyone else. Mm-hmm. That man will be loyal to you, Minsun. If you play your cards right, that man will never leave you.
Yeah. He wouldn't even have the thought to do so.
No, you could. Well, we find out later why. Because
he waits for people.
Diva, secure the bag.
We need to take a moment. Sungjin's chat is next, and nobody joins.
Sungjin has a chat room and no one joins, and he like fully is just like, my phone's just locked next to me. Because he even says like, and if my friends join, it'll just feel like a joke.
Ugh. There has on the show so far on all 3 seasons, there is no one that has had no one interested in them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess Dabit last year, but
there was still something that Dabit and Yoongi had something that could have started for, like, there was still already chemistry that started.
Yeah.
As opposed to Sungjin, where it's like they have all immediately cast him aside. And I mean, I do think there was some. Season 1 is hard to decipher because they were also nervous. Mm-hmm. I think it happened there too.
Oh, with what's her name?
Yoonchae, the one who was like, I used to be an idol.
Yes,
and now I work.
That's right. I did forget about that. Yeah. And the drag queen, I think nobody really. Yeah. So I guess maybe it has happened before, but God, I think it feels bad.
It feels bad because this season feels.
It's like, what's her name in that season of Singles Inferno?
And I was like,
she's the most gorgeous person on the show.
Why is no one?
She never even left in front. No. She never left hell.
She never got to go to paradise.
Sungmin's is the last chat. Obviously, Hui and Jason join. Hui immediately is just like,
I want to go on a date with you.
I want to go on a date with you. I really like you. Blah, blah,
I really
blah.
like you. I miss you. He says, I miss you.
And Jason leaves early.
Immediately.
He's like, I cannot read this.
I actually can't read it. This is actually, I lost all confidence.
That's crazy to me.
That he is like this grown man.
Yes.
Who looks like that.
Yes.
And like is a business owner.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like all of these
has
things.
Lived a life.
Has lived a full life.
Yeah.
And it's like, I couldn't have the confidence to like say, I like you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is genuinely a generational thing.
I think so too.
Okay, and that's the anonymous chat, and that's the episode. Thank you so much for watching.
We're now going to turn into a full NPR episode where we analyze the next
every second of
this conversation.
I'm going to just quickly.
Just what happened?
Sungmin and Jason end up talking, and Jason says he wants to take him out on a date from morning to night.
Because Sungmin says, like, well, I still want to go on a proper date with you.
He also tells Wee that he said this to Jason, and Wee is a little hurt by it.
And Sungmin by the dishes is like, I'm sorry.
Because Sungmin is like, I still like both of them.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? Play your cards, girl. Just keep bouncing back and forth.
Keep bouncing back and forth.
I mean, we have suggested an ulterior option, but
yes, we can. If I'm sure there are books that you can read.
Alternate option, not ulterior.
Yes.
Well,
okay. And like we said, Hanmin has been like very supportive of everyone. He goes to Jaesung after like getting the vibe that he did not have a good experience with the chat room.
Yes.
And was like, I noticed that everyone has someone to confide to, but I can tell that like
him and Sungmin
don't. So I like go out of my way to reach out to them. And Jason like opens up. Like he's very like, it's crazy how I don't have like confidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All of that.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Everyone who is just skipped, we're just gonna put in
a marker. We are now just talking about these two for the rest of this.
My god.
We've been waiting for it because we saw that little teaser.
Yes.
So everyone's just been waiting for this.
We've been waiting. Youngjoon and Myungkyun finally have a conversation because Youngjoon is so mad about the anonymous question from earlier.
And then obviously the anonymous chat room too, saying that he has a secret.
Yes. So he pulls him outside.
First of all, he approaches him and Myungkyun is holding snacks again. He's like, here.
Constantly snacking.
Have something. And he was like, no, I need to talk to you. So he's eating his little carp ice cream.
Okay.
Okay.
The long and short of the conversation, the TLDR, is that Youngjoon wants to know what the secret is. That is really what bothers him. He thinks there's something that he is like hiding to like truth bomb later at the end of the show or something. Youngjoon is clearly worried about his image.
Yes.
Which, you know how you...
Girl.
He's worried about his image.
Uh-huh.
And he just wants to like put this all to bed. Very clearly. Myungkyun, I would say, still likes Youngjoon.
Still harbors feelings, resentment, but he
was very hurt by what happened between them. Clearly.
But I don't think I don't know if I want to say like he is outwardly doing this. I think he's doing it recklessly and carelessly, but he is doing it because he knows that like, well, he's cold enough to just like leave me. So this shouldn't affect him. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like he's testing him.
Yes, there's also like two completely different communication styles here. Even though it's funny because he brings up the fact that they're both ENFJ.
Yeah.
Or ENFJ.
He says ENFJ.
So they should be similar to some regards, but they are so... Oh my god. Youngjoon won't stop talking.
Youngjoon will not stop talking.
He's asking questions and then being like, why aren't you answering?
He's talking himself in circles. He's like, well, you said this, and then blah, 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 blah. And Myungkyun is literally like, I did? Oh.
Yes, Myungkyun's problem is that he is trying to seem so calm,
he does not want to
that it comes off as that he doesn't care, and he also keeps saying like, do whatever you want, I don't care.
He literally is like, do whatever you want. If you want to date him, go ahead and date him. Why does it matter what I'm doing? Because but that's the thing, does Myungkyun want him to admit anything? Does he want anything, or has Myungkyun fully decided that like he is now this person?
This is the question. Is like, where are they both? Okay, here's what I think.
Here's what we know.
Here's what we know.
Here's what we know.
They were definitely in a situationship before. I don't think there's an exact one-to-one translation to Korean, so that is probably why it's not being used. But that's basically what was happening.
Yes.
It did not end on good terms to the point that Youngjoon just basically like ghosted him and would just like never reply.
Just like ghosted him and never replied to him.
Myungkyun would ask questions and like
get no response.
And then when he came on the show, Youngjoon immediately went into like honorifics and like pretending he didn't know him, and so Myungjoon was like, Myungkyun, I'm sorry. So Myungkyun was like, oh, I don't. Why are we
pretending
like this?
Yeah.
And then the anonymous question is what has set Youngjoon off. And then in the chat, the thing of the secret.
Because Youngjoon is basically like, I've been myself. I've been sincere to all of these people. So you saying that is gonna cause people to like think.
What is he? Otherwise. The problem is we don't know what he means by him not being sincere. But is he saying like, oh, you're being insincere because you're not ignoring people? Like, is it like? Because I think I'm not saying that Myungkyun. I am more on Myungkyun's side in this conversation because he's clearly has hurt. His feelings are very hurt.
Yes.
By what happened, because it's very clear that he really liked Youngjoon.
Yeah.
And it's fair for Youngjoon to not have liked him back.
Yes.
And that's totally fine. All it's fair in love and war. But he did not do so in a way where it was like, he did not have a conversation.
He did not have a conversation. He did not break up with it. He didn't say like, listen, I don't think that if you want to stay friends, maybe we can, but I just don't think I just don't see us being in a relationship.
Right.
Because it would have had to validate that they were in a situation.
Something.
Yes.
And I do think we have to go back to the point where it was like, what was it? The first, second episode? No, I don't even remember. But whenever
the first reveal,
when they both said that the other person
didn't want a relationship,
did not want to continue,
because they made an effort to show Youngjoon like, well, why is he here? Because I thought he wasn't interested in dating.
And I do understand Youngjoon. Just seeing Myungkyun and how he acts,
I
being
can see why.
So aloof, I would totally understand him being like, okay, so it's clearly not. In me.
Yeah,
but I think that's just who Myungkyun is. And then Youngjoon
not wanting to quote unquote break up with him, or just say like, hey, it's not working, because he basically says, yeah, me not responding to you all those times, me ignoring you,
that tells you that I don't like you,
that I'm not interested in you anymore. But then you kept texting like from time to time, maybe like once a month, to like see how I'm doing.
But then it's also clear that he does like you. So then if you are like bothered by him texting, you need to be like,
yes, because then
unfortunately I'm sorry, blah, blah.
Yes, because then he kept being like, but you kept coming back to me, but it was clear that I wasn't interested in you because I ignored you. And Myungkyun is like, no. I mean, he doesn't answer him, like he's just like listening, but no,
he's eating.
Diva, he's eating an ice cream bread. This is very interesting because Myungkyun fully, his immediate reaction to all of this is like, why should I give you an answer right now for 10 minutes? When
you couldn't even answer my questions for months.
Yeah, you never answered my questions. Yeah.
I think it is very complicated, and I do think like this scene makes Youngjoon look like an ass because he's so defensive.
He's very defensive.
He's so defensive. And because I do think there is a part of him that knows that he's in the wrong.
Yes, I think so too. Mm-hmm. He knows that it was shitty, but he's trying to be so...
He did not expect Myungkyun to walk onto this show. He did not feel that he was ever going to have to deal with him again.
Yeah.
He could just like ghost him and leave him alone. And for most of the people in your life, that's probably true. That's why a lot of people get away with ghosting people. But the problem is you are on now a TV show and you are faced with reality, girl.
This is a TV show, so they could bring anyone.
They can bring anyone.
They could bring anyone, Diva.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not saying that Myungkyun is like, oh, he's a sad little flower who has done no wrong. He fully is doing this like, oh, I have a secret thing, because he's like annoyed and wants to like have something over
you because you hurt him. Like
he's hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but
it's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what else?
It blows up to the point that Youngjoon is so tired of because he's not getting any straight answers.
Youngjoon keeps being like, "This is a classic question of like."
He says, "What do you want from me?" Like he's like,
right,
what are you trying to get at from me? He
wants to know what the secret is, mm-hmm. which he's not going to tell you.
He's not going to tell you. And he kept being like,
and
no,
I kind of don't think he really has a secret.
I don't think he really has a secret.
I think he's just being a little ding dong.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the vibe I get from the kick.
Yes. Where he's like,
where he kicked him that one time. That's like the energy that Myungkyun gives me of being like, I'm just like he's like still kind of a little kid.
I think the secret is that like that he ghosted him.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And that he is a person capable of doing that.
Correct.
In a relationship. And that's
Don't be swayed by this charming act. Don't be swayed by his
charming act, because he could do that to you.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think Youngjoon knows. And he's like, well, I don't want people to know that I'm capable of doing that, because obviously you want to show your best face to someone that you're interested in.
Yeah.
It's weird because Youngjoon says, if you're interested in me, just tell me or say that you are still interested so that I can give you a proper answer.
Which leaves it open-ended
still.
Like if he says yes, would you be interested? Yeah. That was the fascinating part. Because like Youngjoon, you have also all the power here to be like, I'm not interested.
I'm not interested.
And like, I'm sorry that I did that to you, and I shouldn't have done that to you probably, but like
didn't want to hurt your feelings when I
and I
felt
see
like
that I
was
did
the-
that and that blah 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 blah. But like, you getting mad about it outside makes you look nuts, girl.
To the point where everyone was like looking and watching you guys.
I loved being
Hui
like,
was like, oh, finally.
I'm eating it
some
up.
fucking entertainment.
Yeah. Minsun is like, I really shouldn't get involved. Girl,
Diva.
you're involved.
Too bad, because you are.
You're in it.
But Youngjun like leaves the conversation.
There's no resolution.
Because there's no resolution.
It is like a half hour of just fighting.
He literally says, I wasted all that time when I could just be like talking to someone that I like. But I wasted my time talking to you to try to figure this out when there's nothing, you won't even give me a straight answer.
But like, and I would be more on Youngjun's side if it felt like he wasn't so antagonistic toward Myungkyun since Myungkyun has arrived.
I know.
Myungkyun has not done, apart from, I will say the anonymous question today was crazy.
Yes.
But like, Youngjun keeps snapping at him for nothing. He will like ignore him, and then he like it's such a bad
he's
look.
making it so clear and obvious that it's affecting him that now knowing what Myungkyun went through, I could see why he keeps wanting to push the button.
Yeah.
They split off. They're still kind of like mad and yelling at each other. Youngjun goes back to Hanmin's room with Minsun.
I just want to be clear. Youngjun is yelling at Myungkyun.
Youngjun is yelling.
Myungkyun is not really yelling back, but they are definitely.
But he's like sternly
having
answering
words.
stuff back.
Yeah.
Because then he'll just like, yes, go. Just do whatever you want.
I mean, he's very RJ in a fight, by the way.
Because then it's just like,
If we
yeah, you're
ever
right.
fight,
Go ahead. Yes.
RJ does this thing
Yes.
where he'll
I'm
be
like,
like,
fine.
yeah, go ahead. You're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Then we're done. Let's move on.
oh my God, it's so irritating.
But then Myungkyun goes in that room, and Youngjun fully is like, leave.
Get out.
Get
I
out.
hate you.
I hate you. Because I hate you right now. And Minsun takes Myungkyun back to their room,
Where Myungkyun cries.
and Myungkyun breaks down. He cries. And he basically says it like, he was just so cold to me. And it just reminded me.
I think it's very interesting that even Hanmin, who like is comforting Youngjun, obviously, and Youngjun is not crying. He's just like coming down from the
he's
anger
coming
waves.
down from the anger, yeah. In his talking head, he was like,
he was like, I mean, I obviously feel bad for Myungkyun, but I have to be there for Youngjun. It's very clear to everyone that like Youngjun is
the one that is antagonizing.
in the right here. Yes, he is the one antagonizing.
But yeah, Myungkyun is like, he like even
because Youngjun in his head feels antagonized by the mere existence of Myungkyun being on the show.
Yes, and no one really cares that they know each other.
No.
Even
no
if
one cares.
Even if you
Guys,
say that they were,
you're all gay. All of you have had sex with other people before today.
Yeah,
the community is small.
No, I know.
All of them know that. No one it would be like, oh, I'm shocked to find this out.
Hanmin was like, well, I know Jaesung, so I was in his room today because I want to make sure he feels like he's comforted. Yeah. Like, no one cares.
Because they follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah. But Myungkyun and Myungkyun apologizes to Minsun about like, obviously like letting all of this out when he's like, I feel like we're not even that close yet. And like, you're hearing all this, but essentially he like cries and says like, he felt really hurt being treated very coldly by Youngjun as soon as he came in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just reminded him that like, just the feelings of like that it was literally nothing. Like
it's fascinating, and I'm sure it would feel crazy for Myungkyun because Youngjun left the situationship basically pretending it didn't exist to now we go on the show and every single time we've talked you want to be like, well, what were we and what do we need to tell people we were?
Yes.
Blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
and
oh, now like, you care
now
what we were.
You care what we were. You literally just pretended like we were nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You said,
I would also feel insane.
So I would I would be like, why all of a sudden you want to like label something when you fought so hard to be like, well, it was nothing. There was nothing.
Oh my God, Youngjun.
We just gotta be direct. We just gotta listen. Just talk.
Okay, actually, Youngjun's problem is not talking; it is fully listening. But Myungkyun's problem is not talking.
Yeah.
They both need to work on that.
Yes.
I actually wanted someone to just come and be like, I need to hear your side and I need to hear your side because this is crazy.
Yeah.
They were not, there was no, I mean, they were like talking at each other, but no one was
listening
so
to one
stupid.
another.
It was exchange levels watching.
If the gag of the show is that Hanmin ends up mediating this conversation,
I mean,
I literally would.
Oh. I need them to go. I need them to be forced to go on a date together. I need production to spin their magic and get them on a date
and just be
together.
like,
I do not care.
You guys won a special benefit.
Yeah, you got the most screen time in the last episode, so you both
now have
get
to you have to go on a date together.
Youngjoon keeps being like, well, we weren't even anything. We weren't even like, we were barely flirting. This is a lot of emotions for nothing.
Yeah.
We weren't anything. And you're screaming on the patio
about being like, well, what do you...
Like, let's back up. Like, let's say, okay, give him the benefit of the doubt. The anonymous letter made him really upset.
Yeah.
That I totally understand. But like
before
previous to that, why were you snapping at him for nothing? Why were we snapping
him for just being like, oh yeah, that's...
If it was truly like, oh, we just knew each other and we weren't anything, which we obviously know wasn't because you were doing couple videos on TikTok, which you should have scrubbed off the internet before the show aired, girly pop.
You had a year just of
You
the
had
show
a year,
sitting.
girl. Go through your TikTok, girl. This is the gag. It's like, did they get back together? Are we going to find this? This is why I'm like, well, you're not going to... He didn't scrub it because... Okay, this is my theory. Is that they're back together.
Oh.
Or that he picks him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what is the end game? What do you want to get out of it?
And I want to be clear. I think Youngjoon and Hanmin have probably like the second most chemistry on the show.
Totally.
I think they're so nice to each other. They're so sweet. I think Hanmin's like a good match.
Hanmin is a good match for Youngjoon because he lets him be crazy.
I don't even think Myungkyun... It would be wild for Youngjoon and Youngjoon to get back together. They are physically... I would love to watch them do whatever they want to do together.
Whatever milk they want to drink on camera.
Exactly, yes. But like relationship wise, they do not communicate the same way. It's a recipe for disaster. They need to either both work on that or just decide that that's not who they need to be with, and that's fine. It is sweet from Youngjoon, who came on the show, that teaser of that second episode where he was like, oh, I'm definitely going to be the hottest one here. So everyone was like, this guy's going to be an asshole. To find out he was like, I just kept texting you because I was waiting for you to come back
respond.
to me. For you
so
to
that's
come
why
back to me.
I would keep responding or keep texting you.
And like crying about this relationship that ended like over a year ago. Like, he's way softer than... He keeps trying to appear. He keeps trying to be like, oh, nothing's wrong, blah, blah, blah.
He's like, yeah.
But like,
clearly he is like hurt.
And that is also what bothers Youngjoon about it too.
Yes. Cause
I would also be annoyed that he was like, oh, whatever, it's fine.
I'm like, no, it's clearly not, because you wouldn't have wrote that in the damn anonymous letter.
They're both
yes,
but
I
like,
see. That's
truly
why
was
we
like
love it, because they brought them together.
I am more like Youngjoon, so I was like frustrated because I was like, Youngjoon, sister, see me, look at me, hear me. You are making every.
Am I more like Youngjoon too, or do you think I'm more like Myungkyun?
You like to talk.
I'm a yapper.
You're a yapper. But that is how you resolve conflict, is you just like to be like, okay, fine.
That's the thing. I don't like talking about. I am like Myungkyun, where it's like, I don't want to talk about what is there to talk about.
Even in the car on the way to the grocery store, he was like, stop talking.
Yes, Myungkyun was just yapping.
I would be on your side, Youngjoon, and be like, yeah, it was crazy that he sent that message. If it wasn't clear up to this point in the show that you were clearly bothered that
exactly. Because if Youngjoon didn't react that way, if he's just like, oh yeah, Myungkyun, blah blah blah, Myungkyun wouldn't think about doing that and writing that question to you. You know what I mean? He may have written something else, but it definitely would not be as hostile as that.
if it was truly just that you were friends and like just fell out of like whatever, you just
contact or whatever, he may have just asked like
Myungkyun would have walked into the show and you would have been like, oh my god, Myungkyun, so good to see you.
Crazy. We like hung out a lot.
Friends. We just were friends.
You weren't. You're lying about it.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. You're lying about it.
This whole thing has started with a lie. You're lying to yourself about what you were because you don't want to be the one to be like, oh, I judged too quickly and then I just decided that we were done and now I feel. But like, I do think it all stems from the fact that Youngjoon was annoyed that Myungkyun didn't probably give him the same energy back. So he was like, well, this seems like it's going nowhere. So then just stop talking to him.
But then when he
started texting him back, he had too much pride to be like, oh, maybe I do actually still like him and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. That's it. That's literally it.
Thank you. Give me my fucking psychology degree. Thank you.
And then you'll apply it to yourself, or no, you still won't do that. Still.
Well, that was the last episode of the His Man series ever.
Do you have any MVP? Who are you rooting for? Not MVP. Different show. Who are you rooting for right now?
I'll say who I would have joined an anonymous chat of.
Okay, sure.
Knowing what happens in the chat, I would have wanted to join the Myungkyun chat just to watch the drama happen. Mm-hmm. Who would I be most interested in that I would like join just to flirt with them anonymously? Probably Hanmin.
Yeah.
At this point in the show.
I know. I think by
everything I've seen from him, I'm like,
wow, you are way more charming than I thought you were going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like hot like Myungkyun, but with a brain.
I know.
Wow. Too powerful. But also I'm very charmed by Jaesung.
Yeah, I know.
I like how unconfident he is.
I know
that probably shouldn't be what I'm attracted to, but like
there's something about him being like really self-conscious and like scared that endears me to him.
I really like Songmin. Like I think it's very sweet how sensitive he is.
Yes, I think so too.
I would
go join his chat just to like reassure him that like, I saw you had a hard day today. I hope that you know that.
I don't think I would be necessarily attracted to Sungjin, but I would join his chat just to be like,
diva,
can we kiki? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not what he wants.
No, I understand, but I do like that he is not acting like I should just leave the show. Because I do think there is like a value to like getting a bunch of like gay friends
I think so.
In like a country where you're probably there's not a ton of options. You know what I mean? So that's nice.
I think I would join Hanmin's too. I think just to be able to see what all the buzz is about. What are the girls saying?
I want to see what this.
I want to see what this is all about.
What's under there?
What's under that tiny little piece of cloth? I think at the end, Myungkyun is going to have to decide if he's going to pick Youngjoon or Minsun. Because they're already...
He says in this episode that he would consider dating Minsun.
He could see a relationship with Minsun. Now that I'm seeing what he actually wants in a relationship, I could see that now why he would pick Minsun. He just wants someone to like talk to.
Yes.
He doesn't need...
be very easy to please.
He doesn't need... He doesn't need the Youngjoon, like, he doesn't need a life of the party. I don't even think he needs, like, big sparks to come from someone.
No.
I think he just wants the companionship.
Yes.
Genuinely.
I think so, too.
And, like, we'll fall in love with someone through that. And so, thank you for your time.
It was a
pleasure to meet you. So, we will be...
Boy love. Boys love. Who gets the channel? You get Friedrich, I get the channel. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Sounds good.
So stupid. Do you want to address this now? Are you going to address the boyfriend?
No.
We know there are other gay dating shows.
We know there are other gay dating shows.
The thicket of this one. So I'm not just going to leave and then watch something else. I'm sure we will watch it down the road.
I promise that when we start a show, we will finish a show. If we finish Fantasy Boys, we're finishing the show.
So we're
not just going to abandon ship halfway through.
Yes, we know the boyfriend is good.
Heard it's great.
We'll see how it turns out.
It'll still be there.
It'll still be there. It's not going anywhere.